Hi class, today we're going to begin our math lesson. If you can just put away all your things, take out a pencil and a whiteboard, you can begin. So today we're going to continue our work with variables and expressions. So you've already talked about expressions from last class, and what we're going to learn today is how to simplify expressions. So this knowledge is critical in solving algebraic equations because we want our expressions in the simplest form when we solve them. But before we go in, let's review a little bit about what we discussed last class. So simplifying algebraic expressions, we're going to review last class. So what is a variable? And what is the variable in this expression? Can someone tell me what that is? Everyone write it down on your whiteboards and put them up when you're ready. Yes. So a variable is a quantity or number that changes within the context of the problem. So the variable in this expression would be x. So can we have more than one variable in an expression? Write it on your whiteboards and then put it up when you're ready. So yes, as in this example, we can see 4x plus y is an algebraic expression with two variables. But for today, we're going to focus on expressions with one variable. But I want you to remember that this is a possibility, and it does complicate things later down the road. So one thing that we're going to discuss so we can have an easier time today throughout the lesson is the parentheses rule. So with the parentheses rule, we have to remember how we can distribute a number when it's in the parentheses. So for the first problem, we see it's 2 parentheses 5. This is equivalent to 2 times 5, which is 10. Basically, we want to take that 2 and distribute to every term in the parentheses. So this next term, 2 parentheses 5 plus 4, what we're going to do is we're going to hop the 2 over to both the terms and then add them together when we're done. So it's really 2 times 5 plus 2 times 4. Remember that when we do this, we want to only distribute the 2 for the numbers that are in the parentheses. So this third example, is it 2 times 5 plus 2 times 4? Probably not, because the 4 isn't in parentheses. So it's only 2 times 5 plus 4. So simplifying algebraic expressions. So why is this so important? Why would we care so much? We want to take these very long algebraic expressions with multiple parts and then simplify them so they are the shortest form. And why we would do this is because if we look at this first example up here, when I give you this expression x minus 1 minus 1 minus x plus x, you might get nervous. It's a little tricky. It looks a little big. And how would you even handle all these numbers? But I give you 3x minus 2 and you're not as nervous because this is a simplified version of the expression before. They are the exact same thing. So what we're going to learn in this lesson today is why we would want to go from the first part to the second part, because obviously it's just easier to work with. So in today's lesson, we are going to be using techniques we're comfortable with and expanding on them. So do we read expressions from left to right or right to left? Discuss with your neighbors. Can anyone tell me if it's left to right or right to left? Yes?
Is it left to right?
Yes, it is left to right. We always want to read from going from the left to the right. So what is PEMDAS? Does anyone remember what PEMDAS stands for? Discuss with your neighbors if you're not sure. Yes. Do you know what PEMDAS stands for?
Yeah, is it the parentheses, then the exponent, then multiplication, division, addition, and finally subtraction?
Perfect, that's exactly what it is. So it's basically the order in how we do operations when we're dealing with an expression we always want to start with what's in the parentheses. Then what's next important is exponents. Multiplication and division, it doesn't really matter which one we do first, but those are the two that we want to focus on. And then addition and subtraction is the last thing we do in any expression. So now that we're done reviewing some of the old stuff, how it's going to apply into the new stuff, I want to show you really quickly how I'm going to model this. Basically, in our old mathematical expression, we would have 1 plus 2 times 4. And what we would basically do is 2 times 4 first, because of according to PEMDAS, and that would be 1 plus 8, which is not complicated. We're going to be doing the same stuff, but with algebraic expressions this time. So 1 plus 2 times 4x, same thing. We're just going to do 1 plus 8x. We're just adding in the variables. So now I want you guys to look at your worksheets. So I want you guys to, let me show you. Take out your worksheet. So you can see that there is, oh, sorry, let me just, oops. How do I show you this? Okay, yeah. So just look at your worksheet and we're going to follow along and then do these examples together. So in this first example, we have 4x plus 2 plus 2x. So we're going to simplify this expression, and I want you guys to follow along. So the first thing we're going to do is PEMDAS. We're going to apply PEMDAS, and we know our multiplication rules that we're going to use. So the first thing we're going to do is work on with what's in the parentheses. There's nothing we can simplify in the parentheses. So what we're going to do is distribute the 4, because now we're going to deal with multiplication, and that's multiplication. The parentheses rule applies again. So that way we would distribute the 4 into every expression inside. So 4x plus 2x plus 2x. Does that make sense to everyone? Is everyone good? Thumbs up, thumbs down.
Thumbs up.
Awesome. Yeah, next we just add, because all of our expressions have an x in them. So we can literally just add all of them. We're moving on into the addition part of PEMDAS. 8x, easy stuff. Let me know if that doesn't make sense to everyone. Thumbs up, thumbs down.
Thumbs up.
Okay, that sounds good. We have another expression. So this 3x, 2 plus 5 plus 7x. The first thing we're going to do again in this example is we're going to work with PEMDAS again. So what are we going to do? The first thing is the parentheses rule, right? So yeah, the first thing we're going to do is focus on what's in the parentheses. So 2 plus 5, 7. So now we basically have simplified this expression to simplify what's in the parentheses. So now we want to distribute the 3x, but only to what's in the parentheses. We do not want to distribute it to the entire thing. That is a common mistake, which will lead you to 21x plus 21x. After we distribute the 3x to the 7, we're basically going to get 21x plus 7x. And now finally we can do some addition because they have the same variable, so we can add them. 28x. Does that make sense to everyone? Let me know if there was a step in there that you did not understand. Thumbs up, thumbs down.
Thumbs up.
Awesome. So here's the second example. This is the example I gave you guys at the very beginning when I said this might look a little complicated. And now I'm going to show you exactly how we would simplify it. So the first thing we want to do is convert the negative that's in the middle to a positive by basically adding -1. This is a tactic we learned earlier in class where basically it's easier to deal with addition than it is subtraction. So let's convert things to addition. So do you see how right here, instead of it being minus 1 minus x, we did plus -1 times 1 minus x. But now we have to distribute the negative property, or the distributive property, with the -1, because it is now multiplication. As we can see here, it converts to the first expression plus -1 plus x, because a negative and a positive convert to a negative. And then let me know if that doesn't make sense to everyone. Does that make sense? That was a little complicated. Let me know if that confuses anybody. Thumbs up, thumbs down.
Thumbs up.
Cool. So x minus 1 plus x. So what we can do here is the addition and subtraction that's necessary in these equations. We can see that we can get rid of the parentheses entirely now because there's no multiplication above it. So it basically becomes x minus 1, which is the same thing as x minus 2, and then plus x, which ends up being 3x minus 2, if you just add and subtract the variables and the numbers regularly. Thumbs up, thumbs down if that makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, let me know right now.
Thumbs up.
Awesome. So now that we have gone over a couple of examples, I want you guys to take 15 to 20 minutes to finish the worksheet on the worksheet that I have shown you guys. It's gonna consist, if you guys have been keeping along, it consists of the 2 examples that we just went over, and you guys have 3 more problems that you need to handle. And then I'll be walking around and making sure you guys aren't confused. If you are confused, just like raise your hand or come up to my desk and I will definitely be here to help you guys out. We also have a homework assignment that is due. So I'm gonna need you guys to do that as well, and I'll be collecting it tomorrow to make sure everything is good. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Does anyone have any questions?
No.
Awesome. Okay, guys, get started on your work.